Right, so we're gonna take it back from where we left off. We just mentioned the fact that inclusive employment is a two-way street. We expect the community at work to put in an effort to understand people of determination, what are their needs, how they can support and add value. But we also expect people of determination to allow this room for learning, to allow their colleagues at work, their managers, to also learn how to deal with them. Sometimes, accept certain language which may not be politically correct, but is not said with ill will. So we need to facilitate those things. An important thing that Yahye mentioned earlier on was about technology, and how technology and the digital realm is now extremely important and plays a role in facilitating the employment of people with disabilities. Kayo, can you tell us a little bit about some of the things that a company might want to look at from an employment perspective, maybe as well as from service delivery or their core business?
There have been quite a few studies being done by researchers in the sociology departments in this area, and one of the driving questions that an answer was required for is how do we enable people of determination to use technology to enable and function within the society of, let's say, typical users, with the same skill sets that they possess, with the same talent that they possess, and the ability to work and the passion to work. Now, in the last few couple of decades, we have got screen readers come out. We have got assistive voice coming out of the research labs. We have accessibility frameworks for how software and applications need to be developed. But there is a gap that we are still facing, or that we're still seeing, is bringing all of this together. The voice of the people of determination has not been adequately echoed across the frameworks used in development of these solutions, which is where they are at this time, though it's making a life a little bit easier, they are forced to use applications that are within their reach. That they have larger screens on the phones, they've got screen readers, they've got magnifications, but how do you go beyond that? So for example, for websites, we have the WCAG framework. We have the AA and the AAA standards that we're putting in. But our websites...
Why are we stuck at AA? Why can't we go to AAA while still making certain aesthetics?
Yes, exactly. Because we haven't achieved AA yet.
Yeah.
The framework is out there, the study is out there, but people haven't worked on it. People are not remedying their sites on it. And that is an important point to note, because the frustration a person of determination feels when he expects these services as part of the inclusion mantra that is working, is still beckoning.
Still a bit lacking.
Still a bit laggy. And this is where we're all trying to fill a space and work with organizations in not only identifying these potential areas of improvement, but also helping them to improve.
Absolutely.
And and to allow people of determination to flourish, to enjoy the work, yes, to enjoy the full employment.
So that's from the digital accessibility point of view. What about the physical environment, Mike? If we're going to hire people of determination, we're going to tap this untapped pool of very loyal, skilled, educated group of our population. What are some of the things, let's say, the basic things that we should do as an employer to encourage them to come and be able to access our facilities?
Okay. First, let me point out that when we say people of determination, in my perspective, people of different challenges than what we have. Each of us has different challenges. When we look into employment, into the employment section, we have to look at how the person with disability is gonna reach our facility. Where is he coming from? How he's gonna enter the facility? Is it accessible in terms of tactile indicators for people with visual impairment? Is it accessible in terms of braille, tactile maps that supports also people with visually impaired? Inside the offices, we need to look at accessible counters for people with mobility impairment, accessible desks. Yes, accessible path. Also, we have to look at. We need not to forget people with hearing impairment, where
Absolutely.
we need also to support them with the assistive listening technologies.
How would somebody in a meeting room who is hearing impaired, for example, be able to partake in a business meeting, which we have in our work every day?
Definitely. There are different technologies, as you said earlier, that we can have in our office, in our company, that support people with different impairment. And also, I need to add the evacuation process.
Like
case
a
of
very much
emergencies.
forgotten aspect.
Yeah, which is very, very important for people with mobility impairment, or people that got injured during the incident, or God forbid, fire happened in the facility. What kind of evacuation system do I have?
If somebody is in a wheelchair on the 3rd floor and there is a fire and the elevator stopped and went down to the ground floor and opened up, so what do we do then? You know, how do we get them out?
There are a lot of minor things to look at, and they can facilitate big time day-to-day life of a person with different impairments at work place.
Absolutely. So this is a little bit about the digital accessibility and the built environment accessibility.